next. I want to talk about the kind of like the franchise QB conundrum just in the NFL. My guy Jason Goff of NBC Sports, now he tweeted something last night that really had me want to talk about this conversation. I think a lot of it has to go into the Justin Fields, Caleb Williams conversation, but just on a broader perspective, what we saw from Dak Prescott this weekend, we saw from Tua this weekend of how many quarterbacks are the guys. I just want to read what Jason said last night. He said 4 teams have the dude in quotations. The rest of y'all are fooling yourselves. Coach and play accordingly until you develop the dude. He also put, first time I heard the rookie deal theory for the quarterbacks was when Russell Wilson was coming of age. And as soon as Marshawn and Legion and Boom was disbanded due to cost and locker room philosophy shift, what happened? It's okay to admit that you don't have what you thought. And I feel like a lot of teams, to me, this is kind of like even with the 3-point conversation in the NBA, where you shoot all these amount of 3-pointers, but you don't really have the personnel to be doing that. I want to go, Courtney, I want to go to you first. What's just your opinion on like how quarterbacks are judged, and should coaching be developed more about, okay, we know that he's probably not that guy, so we're gonna still tailor the game around him. What do you think about how should there be a way to be changed? Should we go back to signing the veteran and sitting these young guys? What do you feel about that conversation?
I don't really know if I have the strongest thoughts on this, mainly because I don't think that the quarterback position will ever get to a point where it's kind of like the running back. Like running backs aren't getting paid anymore, right?
No.
That's not going to happen with the quarterback. But we're seeing now that with this season, especially because of how many starting quarterbacks got hurt and how many of the incidents of the next guy up did kind of, for at least, there was a flash in the pan. Think like Tommy DeVito, Jake Browning. It was a flash in the pan for sure, but like they stepped in and they filled in the role relatively well, So giving these guys big contracts, I feel like to a degree it might get harder and harder to justify it. But I don't know, man. We see that the Packers have a pretty solid formula going for them right now, where they always kind of have the next man just chilling in the rafters. What a luxury that is. And that's honestly what it is. It's a luxury. I wish other teams, including my own, could learn something from that.
But even you had a Hall of Fame quarterback for a decade. I would kill just to have somebody like whoever. Mikey, I'm gonna go to you next, brother. We had this conversation every goddamn day. I feel like, what do you feel about like how we view quarterbacks in today's era, pretty much?
I mean, it's how we view music. It's how we view movies. It's how we view everything. It's a microwave society. Like, it goes back to your brother's point. There's no patience. And now, like, we're seeing it with the franchise that we follow, the Chicago Bears. They want to. One of the main points of them moving on too is, what is everybody saying? The resetting the rookie contract. It's become a financial thing. And if you just look around the league, there aren't many good starting quarterbacks, let alone many good starting quarterbacks that will allow a rookie quarterback to come in and sit for a year or two and by that time and develop. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to think about it. Like, yes, they drafted Jordan Love. The Packers drafted Jordan Love. They had Aaron Rodgers. What the fuck did Aaron Rodgers do that year? After that same year they drafted Jordan Love, he went and won a fucking MVP. You know what I'm saying? So like it was okay. Like, well, we got Aaron Rodgers, so we just got to sit. We just got to sit him. We just got to sit him and let him keep going. So there's not a many. Look around the league. Steelers, a team that's in the playoffs right now, they're playing with a backup. The Browns, we're playing with a backup. Like there's no room. There's no room to allow a quarterback to grow. So I just think we're going to continue to be in this microwave era, especially, as the salary cap goes up and these contracts go up. Who's the next quarterback that's up for a big contract? Who's the next big one? Is it Tua? Is it Tua? And that one, it's Tua. And if you look at it, they have, I'm down here in Miami. They have a real tough decision. They might just pick up the 5th-year option and then and delay it, like they might not be all the way sold on them. So it's just real. It's it's just the times that we live in right now. Fans are fickle, owners are fickle. They want the bang for their buck ASAP. They see CJ Stroud, they see Joe Burrow, and they think that shit happens all the time, but they don't realize like the last time that shit happened was like 13, 14 with Russell Wilson. That was almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's tough. It's tough. And it's tough for us fans because we see it on Twitter and we see how anxious the fan base are, how everybody's arguing with each other, and everybody thinks they know the way, and there's no clear cut way on how to go about, developing a quarterback.
I want to say
Mikey,
this.
hold on real quick. I want to respond to that real quick. Part of that is the part of the reason of that is because of how the contracts are made in the first place. See, if this was, before the rookie scale contract, then you'll probably see teams stay with quarterbacks longer because you've paid them that money and you'll mess up your salary cap. Like, let's look, for example, not Matt Stafford, excuse me, Sam Bradford, because I think Sam Bradford was the last quarterback before the rookie scale. Once the rookie scale happened, you only got like 3 or 4 years to say that this is the kid for you, especially when you have a team like the Eagles who ended up winning a Super Bowl before you really had to throw out big money for your quarterback. So with this rookie scale thing, I know it made some of the vets happy that you were not paying a quarterback an absorbent amount of money, because imagine if that was still going on, you will see quarterbacks coming out the gate getting the Deshaun Watson, Joe Burrow type deal currently right now. But because you can take time to make the money, that means you can get rid of them before you have to pay them, instead of paying them and have to be stuck with them like some teams have been. So for a situation like the Bears or whatever like that, or some other quarterbacks that are on that like Tua that you're debating on whether you pay them or not. The reason why these are going on because they're not getting their money. So now you're not taking the time to develop them. You're getting them in and you're getting them out. And that, to me, is dangerous for a player's career.
I want to answer this this question we got in the not question, it's comment in the chat. It says Green Bay QB praise is overrated as well. All the QBs been so good. Great, they won 2 rings in 40 years, man. I swear. Okay, this is one thing Bears fans got to stop. Because I know this is a Bears fan. Like, because first of all, I would sell my firstborn I haven't had yet for 2 championships in 40 years. Just give me one. We gotta stop with this shit. It's like saying, well, Jordan Love be completing easy passes. Nigga, how many times Bears quarterbacks complete easy passes? They don't. They don't. They yes, have they only had 2 championships? He said, I do not like the Bears. Okay, well, I'm thankful that you're good, but I don't understand that. I feel like, a championship is championship. Did they do enough to surround Aaron? Did Aaron get away with murder with a lot of situations? Same thing Brett Favre. Brett Favre would throw interceptions into whatever crowd he could. So I feel like there's other stuff that comes with it, but I'm not going to poo-poo on them getting, 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Like they're whatever we feel about Aaron Rodgers, he's a top 5 greatest quarterback of all time. Like if we take away all personal feelings I have for him. So yeah, he is great. Brett Favre should be in prison right now, but he's a great quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna, just poo-poo on that, no matter how much I do hate for him. But go ahead, man.
Scott, man, it goes back to what I said about that rookie scale. Now things have to go faster in order to get that. I think any team in the NFL would kill for the setup that the Green Bay Packers had, because it shows stability. It's the same that same stat is similar to the Pittsburgh Steelers only having 3 coaches since like 1969. It shows stability. Yeah, you want to win more, but the fact that you got 2 out of all those is still great, because it's hard to win a title in the NFL. But because you have to win fast now, and that's what matters to most fans.
And at the end of the day, there's gonna be 31 fan bases, 31 franchises that are upset at the end of the year. Only 1 year wins. You just want as many cracks at the championship as you can get. So how Bang said, stability at the quarterback position is the number 1 position in all of pro sports. So you get that, then it's easier to kind of shape your team around.
Dante, what's your take on how we look at quarterbacks today?
I mean, it's fucked up because you can't sit here and say that this is one of the ultimate team sports and then put all the praise and all the blame on one guy. And that's what we see happen far too often with quarterbacks. They get all the praise when the team is doing great. You know, they get all the hate when somebody's losing. But at the end of the day, I feel like these teams also don't put in the teams that struggle to have consistency at the quarterback position. They struggle to develop quarterbacks. We talk about Green Bay. Like you said, they've drafted their new quarterback while they've had an MVP on the roster twice now. We've seen it twice. And also, this is another reason why you got to really tip your cap to LaFleur because, you know, he was trying to get off of Aaron Rodgers. He was like, yo, no, I know what I'm doing. I can call plays. And one of the detriments, like I just said about a quarterback getting all the praise, it makes you forget, like, this is a team thing. Like, there's a lot going on. There are a lot of moving parts in order for this to work. And so the Packers, you got LaFleur, he sat there for 3 or 4 seasons, however long it was, and he just coached up Jordan Fields. But when you have egos that get involved, when you have coaches who I didn't draft this guy, so he's not my guy, then that is a detriment to the quarterback. And so you have situations where that's often the case, like with the Bears, like we've seen this shit 3 times in a row now, where you tie quarterback to a coach that, you know, the seat may be hot. I know obviously we don't think Fluce's seat is hot as other people think, but God forbid they do flame out this year and then you get rid of Fluce, then what? You know, now you're back doing the same shit again. So with this position, bro, for me, it makes no sense to not load your team up first and then get a quarterback. I know a lot of people say you shouldn't do it like that, but when you look at the way you want, to JR's point, the way you want your quarterback to succeed out the gate now, I can't bring you to a team that got 7, 8 holes on it. I got to bring you to a team that, you know, look at Philly. You know, they bring in Jalen Hurts. You already had the receivers. You have to surround them with talent so that when they are inconsistent, when they don't do everything that you want them to do, you can overcompensate for it with the rest of your team because we got other people that are strong in other areas that's going to keep us going. So it's really crazy to see now. But the money does have a major part to it. JR hit the nail on the head with that because that changes every conversation. Like if I give you 180 out the gate, then people might say, all right, well, let's sit there and let's make sure his development is right. So when we put him out on the field, he don't make a fool out of himself. Whereas now is, hey, bro, you making $9 million a year. I done put this money in other areas. Go out there and make it shake. Like, we're going to let you take your lumps out the gate. But no, I think the Packers have the formula. I think that is the right formula. It's always been the right formula. And unless you have a system in place where you can bring in a rookie quarterback and have everything there to allow him to succeed, then they should be sitting these dudes down for like at least a year and letting them learn the offense. We talk about how hard offense is in the NFL. These dudes, you should be having them in there so they can learn the system, learn the terminology. They say it takes a year to learn all the terminology from the NFL offense. So for us to have these guys learning on the fly, as opposed to like, all right, bro, we're going to sit you here, you get it right, and then we can put you out there. And then if it don't work, we can make something else shake. It's a tricky situation, and it's not going to change anytime soon as long as the contracts are structured the way that they structure.
I want to answer this question real quick. Shout out to Dirt McGirt in the chat. He says, now with that being said, what's to be said about these QBs and franchises who have great records every year but can't win, i.e. Dallas and Green Bay? At what point does win it all actually matter? I mean, that's a good question. I think all that has to go back to what we've been saying, front offices, supporting staffs, coaching. You can give blame. This is actually a good segue into our wild card conversations we'll have in the last 25 minutes before we wrap this up. It's a lot of things that go into winning in the NFL. And also the NFL is not like the NBA or Major League Baseball, NHL, where you get multiple cracks at the apple. It's win and get in, one and done. I mean, we had a team that was as well coached up as ever, a team that you can argue, even though they lost the Super Bowl, is probably the greatest team ever assembled, and that is the 2007 New England Patriots. To this day, I have never seen an offense that electric, and that includes these Patrick Mahomes offenses. Tom Brady and Randy Moss. I can still see that first touchdown, the Brady to Moss over Darrelle Revis. It was just a different kind of show, but because it's a one-game thing, sometimes another team just gets the best of you. Now, Dallas, I feel like just needs to rebuild the whole thing, and some quarterbacks just aren't that guy, and Dak isn't that guy. Dak is a very talented. Mike, we had this conversation before about, is Justin Fields a win of because of guy, or is he you need everything around him guy? Dak is proven that he is a win. You need guys around him. And I'm not putting 100% on the blame on Dak. A lot of that got to go to Mike McCarthy as well. Jordan Love is the example of a guy who's not as talented as Dak Prescott. I think Dak Prescott is a better quarterback than Jordan Love, but Jordan Love has the better coach. he has the better scheme. Just the way the game is so much easier. Dante, you talked this. Matt LaFleur has showed that I'm one of them niggas. And I've been wanting to get Aaron Rodgers out of here to show y'all I'm one of them guys. They even said in the locker room last night that there's something different about that team. Oh, I wonder what's different. You don't have a cap holding anti-vaxxer in your QB room anymore. Who got away with murder more times than anything. There was plenty times in games, even during the Mike McCarthy era, that Aaron wasn't bringing it up to par the way he's supposed to, and the coach gets the blame. So to answer that question, I think a lot of it has to do with situation.
And real quick, not only situation, we have to remember that every ownership group has a different definition of winning.
Yep.
Like we as fans are always championship or bust, but the reality is on the business side, that's not how they look at sports at all. Like that is not how any of these owners look at sports.
Low key, some owners will rather just consistently go to the playoffs than win a title, because then when you win the title, bonus checks, come expectations.
Jerry Reinsdorf said bonuses and all that stuff. Jerry Reinsdorf said the best. Just do enough.
That paper on this player haters, old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna